St. Lawrence was one of the 7 deacons serving the church in Rome in the 3rd century, and he was the church treasurer and probably what we'd today call the church facilities chairman. And in 257, the Roman emperor started a wave of persecution against the church, and all the church property was seized and people were banned from gathering for worship. And on August 4th, 258, the Bishop of Rome and 6 deacons were at a cemetery where they'd gathered to worship in secret. However, they were discovered, arrested, and executed, and then buried back in the cemetery where they'd been found. The Romans were very efficient. However, they held off on executing Lawrence because the emperor wanted Lawrence to give him all of the church's money. And so Lawrence was tortured and tortured to reveal the location of the treasury, and finally he agrees to their demands. However, Lawrence says everything is scattered about the city in multiple locations, so he needs 3 days to gather everything together. And the emperor and the officials sign off on this plan because they're excited because they think this is going to be a lot of money. So Lawrence has 3 days. And during that time, he gathers up all the money of the church, and then he turns around and he gives it away to all the poorest people of Rome. And he then gets a crowd together of all the lepers, the widows, the orphans, the blind, and the lame, all the poor of the city. And when the emperor shows up, excited to get his hands on the church's treasure, Lawrence brings the emperor to where all the poor and marginalized people of Rome are gathered, and Lawrence says, "Here is the treasure of the church." And as you might imagine, the emperor was not pleased, and Lawrence was then martyred on August 10th, and he was just 33 years old. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also.